Well, with a new year on the horizon and many new laws slated to take effect, officials with the New York DMV are urging motorists to abide by the rules. If you don't, you could risk losing your license sooner rather than later. Ryan Hermanette looked into some of the changes coming to New York's driver point system. Ryan has more on what travel experts say you should keep in mind. Good evening, Ryan.
Yeah, good evening, Teresa. We've known about these proposed changes for more than a year now, but in just a couple months, will take effect. Now, this is why travel experts are advising motorists to know what these new penalties for unsafe driving are and what they can mean for you. Starting early next year, if you get pulled over and get a ticket, the consequences may be more harsh and stay on your record longer. And AAA expert Mark Gruba says it's important to know how exactly it could impact you.
You accumulate too many points and it can cause your license to be suspended or revoked. And points on a license can also impact what you pay for insurance.
These changes are part of Governor Kathy Hochul's plan to take high-risk drivers off the road. One change, which has been in effect since January, is the number of driving convictions that will lead to your license being revoked. It was 5 DUI convictions. Now it's 4.
You know, if you've been convicted of driving drunk 4 times, what the state is saying is you shouldn't have a license and you shouldn't be on the road. And to every innocent victim of a drunk driver, who's to argue with that?
Other changes to keep in mind going into the new year: driving more than 10 miles over the speed limit will cost you 4 points on your license instead of 3. Using your cell phone while driving will increase from a 5-point penalty to 6. And reckless driving, such as passing a school bus with its stop sign out or speeding through a construction zone, is 8 points.
But ultimately, it really comes down to just being a good driver. If you're not doing those activities, this really shouldn't have a huge impact on you and your driving habits.
Now, something to keep in mind here, Teresa, if you end up with 10 points on your license within 2 years, it could be suspended. Gruber suggests folks in this position consider taking a defensive driving class. The one offered through AAA can reduce up to 4 points from your record. More about the driver point system changes can be found in this article, up now on our website, rochesterfirst.com. For now, reporting in studio, Ryan Hermanette, News 8.
Yeah, so as you see in the video, I was really coming down with his stricter penalties regarding, the point system, and they also claim it's going to take place in February 2026 or so. So it's going to make it to where they're trying to reduce a certain amount of drivers on the road. And you best believe when they do these things, like let's say when they push like draconian measures upon the citizens or just people in general in America, you best believe it's going to target, Jake, for the most part, so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American people, and this is just a way that Esau does to show that he's the devil. And of course, you want to try to do, follow the laws of the land as much as possible. So, and you best believe as you go upstate, they're more stricter on the, the driving penalties than they are in New York State. Than they are in New York City, because New York City, they're more lax on it, with certain things. Upstate, it's like you go, let's say, 5 above the speed limit, or and this could be you driving on the highway, by the way, and they want to pull you over for any little thing, and sometimes even falsely accuse you. And in Proverbs 29 verse 2, it says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. Yeah. It shows you right there that how that scripture being said. Esau, of course, him being the wicked, scripture say that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So you best believe that, Esau has rulership over, the earth, and mainly in America, in this sense, mostly talking about, the traffic violations or so. Esau's, making it more difficult for people in the state of New York to, drive. He already makes it hard for you to even afford insurance, and sometimes you're gonna have to finesse the system to where you have to pay your car insurance by putting it, upstate or so, or you just, try to see if you could maybe get a license or so, from another state and try to transfer it out there, trying to find ways around paying the insurance so that you won't have to pay for it in New York City, or states like New York City where you're considered a high-risk driver, whatever the case is. So yeah, Esau does all that shit to really make it difficult for people to drive. And then now you have it to where he's implementing a new point system that is going to go as far as making it to where for certain violations he's just gonna hell raise the points and increase it to the point where it will pretty much cause your license to be suspended. And of course in the image right here, TravisTickets.com, New York's new point system updates, it says the violation for speeding 1 to 10 miles over the speed limit is going to be, instead of 3 points, 4 points, and using a handheld cell phone texting while driving instead of 5 points to 6 points. Failure to yield to pedestrian right away instead of 5 is 8 points now, and DWI is, instead of none, it's 11 points. Aggravated unlicensed operation is 11 points instead of nothing. Leaving the scene of an accident with personal injury is 5 points instead of 3. And stalking a bridge, striking a bridge is 8 points. Passing a school bus instead of 5 is 8 points. Speeding in the work zone is 8 points. And failure to use due care is 5 points, and moving violation while the driver is suspended or revoked is 11 points. Yep. So that's how they're moving now. And I can't stress this point more than enough, but bring out this last precept because I didn't want to make the lesson long. It's just short and informative anyway. But it says right here in Ephesians chapter 5 verse 15, it says, "See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is." So it comes to a point in time where it's like, you just gotta use wisdom, of course, especially when Esau's getting harder on these penalties and he's starting to become more severe with his punishment, when it's coming to like him implementing certain things in society, like certain laws or so, to become harsher on people. Yeah, you gotta just be as wise as possible. Buying any drinks or so, like, or maybe any alcoholic drinks or whatever the case is, don't keep it in the back of your vehicle, keep it in your trunk or so. Keep it, of course, in the front or whatever, because anytime you get pulled over, traffic stop, and they just want to naturally accuse you of drinking and driving, some bullshit, even though you haven't done it. So that's what you gotta pretty much look out for. And yeah, of course, when you're driving, you want to try to follow the laws of the land as much as possible. You don't want to be accused of any nonsense. You don't want to be caught up in any BS. You just want to do the best you can to make sure you're following the laws of the land, in a sense, because for the simple fact that you don't want to be having to go on the train and relying on public transportation, you know, or taking a bus where you gotta deal with a bunch of nasty, stinking homeless people, you know, things of that nature. And, you know, some brothers, they may go through that as their lot, you know, and it's like, you want to avoid that as much as possible, you know, because a good thing about a vehicle that you're driving, so it gets you from point A to point B, and, you know, in a short amount of time. And not only that, it's like, it also, you know, decreases the stress from you actually having to, you know, deal with a certain amount of people taking public transportation. So that's the good thing about it, you know, even though they are assholes that you're going to come across with dealing with on the road, you know, it's like you can't let them get to your head, because ultimately the anger that you will, you know, pretty much, and the frustration that you will pretty much accumulate from just taking public transportation is way more than dealing with assholes on the road, you know. So, yeah. Hope, may let's end the final to give all glory, praise, honor to Adonai, Yahweh, Bashem, Shalom, Yahweh, Shalom, Bashem, Kakadash, the honest apostle, Elsprit, Milsom, Peace, teaching, hope, elect, Shalom.